This is no longer a disappearance case. This is now being treated as an active abduction investigation with blood confirmed, ransom communications underway, and the FBI fully engaged. And tonight, I want to walk you through exactly what we know and what we do not know, and what's happening behind the scenes right now in one of the most high profile investigations unfolding in real time. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Blangiforti, and this is Truth Investigations and Criminal Behavior. I'm a retired NYP Detective Squad commander, and my goal on this channel is simple. No conspiracies, no sensationalism, no guessing, just the truth and professional investigative context about how major cases like this actually work. Quick case overview. Let's begin with the basics. An active investigation is underway involving Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show. The case has generated national, if not global, attention almost immediately. And with that attention comes something investigators always have to manage. Fear always spreads faster than facts. So tonight, let's focus only on what has been confirmed publicly. First, I want to talk about the timeline. So here's the approximate timeline that law enforcement has placed into the public record. So Saturday night, January 1st, around 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to a local family member's home. Around 9:48 p.m., family members drop Nancy off at her residence. Around 9:50 p.m., we know that the garage door closes, and that's the last confirmed time that she's known to be home. Now let's move to early Sunday morning, February 1st. Around 1:47 a.m., a doorbell camera system disconnects. It was a Ring camera, and it appeared that it was taken off the outside door frame. And around 2:12 a.m., software detected a person on camera. She had multiple cameras in and around her house, but no footage exists because there was no subscription active. Sometimes people don't subscribe on the app. Sometimes the credit card expires, whatever it is. But unfortunately, there's no video because there was no subscription. Around 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app shows a disconnect from her phone. And these are very important technological markers. It tells investigators that something happened within this period of time. So Sunday late morning around 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy. She's not there. At 12:03 p.m., 911 call is placed. Around 12:15 p.m., patrol arrives. At this point, what began as a welfare concern or a welfare check quickly escalated. Now, there were two press conferences, one a couple of days on February 3rd, Tuesday. I did an episode on that if you want to check that one out on the channel. But today's press conference, February 5th, there was a major shift. And this is where the case fundamentally changes. Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County addressed the public along FBI leadership. Several key facts were confirmed. Nanos confirmed publicly that the blood found on the porch belonged to Nancy Guthrie. It's a significant update because he wouldn't confirm that 2 days ago. So that confirmation changes the posture of the case. Investigators are now working a case that has confirmed physical evidence of an injury or some type of violence. Sheriff Nanos also stated very clearly that there are no suspects and there are no persons of interest at this time. And also, importantly, he stated that no one has been ruled out either. Now, that's standard language early in a case, but it does not mean investigators are not actively investigating someone. It just simply means they're not naming anyone prematurely. Now, last night, and I don't know if you were watching the TV or certainly if you've seen it since, but the three children of Nancy made a heart-wrenching joint statement asking for proof of life, talking directly to their mom, talking directly to the people that abducted her, that they want to communicate. And it was an impassioned plea to get their mom back and how much she needs the medication that she's on. So, we pray for the family and for Nancy, certainly. Now, What does the FBI escalation really mean? The FBI special agent in charge, Heath Janke, spoke today. And when you hear the FBI describe what they've deployed, it tells you something. The case is being treated as high priority, high risk, and it demonstrates what's a complex investigation right now. The FBI also confirmed the involvement of some Quantico based resources, such as the critical response team, cellular analysis teams, financial and banking investigators, interview teams, crisis negotiators. So this isn't casual support. This is a full scale escalation. They also announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy's safe recovery. Now, now, rewards serve two purposes. They will generate new leads and could pressure individuals who may know something to come forward. My personal opinion is I think a more significant monetary award would make more sense in this case. I would expect that there will be others that are going to add to that number. We'll soon find out. Let's talk about the ransom communications. And we already know that there was one imposter who's been arrested for fake ransom note. Thank God. If people are out there doing something like that, they deserve to be arrested. And they also slow down the investigation and lead investigators on a wild goose chases. But the FBI did confirm that ransom communications do exist. One ransom communication that they're looking at most closely is the one that went to TMZ, which they also said is identical to other media outlets that the same note was sent to. One more thing about the imposters. High-profile cases attract these criminals, hoaxers, and opportunists. So investigators have to separate out the real threats from the noise. Now I want to move into proof of life requests and also the AI warning in today's day and age that we have to worry about that. So FBI leadership made a striking statement that AI now can make actual proof of life videos unreliable because they could simply be made up on a computer. So that tells you that the investigators are operating in this modern landscape that we're in, where deception is easier than ever. And this is why details are controlled and everything's not released right away. There's also a medication urgency with Nancy. Now, Sheriff Nanos emphasized that she requires daily medication. They also made it in the family statement last night that she needs certain medications to control daily pain that she's in. Investigators have also contacted pharmacies and hospitals, which is standard in these endangered adult abduction cases. Time does matter. Now, this is important, and that's the press conference issue and why communications matter. I want to address this carefully because I've covered press conference failures before, including in the Brown University mass shooting investigation. And today's press conference had moments of visible strain. Nanos repeatedly said things, that he can't say, and I'm not saying. Some of them were very appropriate given this stage of the investigation. A couple of days ago on Tuesday, he made some statements that I probably would have said differently. At one point, he suggested that he didn't know what detectives were doing, which I would have stated a little bit differently, because from an investigative leadership standpoint, creates frustration, not because the sheriff owes the public every single detail, but it's because language matters, phrasing matters, what you say matters. So a calmer approach would have probably been best. Something like, we're actively pursuing every lead with FBI support. And he did say that today. There are details I can't release right now because it could compromise recovery efforts. That communicates more control without giving away the case. But the sheriff, he did communicate much better in today's presser. That leads me to the other critique that I had a couple of days ago about releasing that crime scene. What's that mean? It means that they they investigated the crime scene. They took what they believed was evidence to be processed, but then they left and released the crime scene, that house, to the family. Thing is that now anybody could walk right up that driveway, right to the front door. And sure enough, the media did. So I don't think that crime scene should have been released. It was a legitimate concern on my part from the last episode. Now, as I said, reporters went right up the driveway and started doing a live shot right in front of the door, and they're showing video and they're observing what they believe to be blood droplets, which we've now confirmed, leading from the doorway. Now, Sheriff Nanos did acknowledge this today, and he even said we probably should have held off. Crime scene integrity isn't just about the evidence, it's also about controlling information. Now, why don't police release everything? Let me explain something the public often misunderstands. Especially in an active abduction case, investigators do not release everything because the offender may be watching, and details released can contaminate witness information. Negotiation leverage can be lost. Public speculation can derail recovery efforts. So their silence or refusal to release certain things is not incompetence, it's strategy. So while some people may think, oh, they're hiding something, they're not saying everything, there's a reason for it. Now, where does the case stand tonight? So here's where we stand based on confirmed public information. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. The blood found is hers. The FBI is fully engaged. Ransom communications do exist, and they spoke about two deadlines in the ransom communication, which is the first time that I heard it. First one was a deadline that was today at 5 p.m. The FBI special agent in charge did not say what would happen, and he was asked that question if the deadline at 5 p.m. wasn't met. So we don't know. If I'm looking at it from a law enforcement investigative perspective, and there was a deadline today, it would be something that establishes communication with the family and talks about next steps, because he also mentions a second deadline, which is this next Monday coming up, which, why are there two deadlines? One to establish communication. The second is I need to get paid by this date. So that's what I believe what it means with the two deadlines that are in the ransom letter. It's also important that we know that that one impersonator has been arrested. It hopefully will stop other people from taking advantage of an awful situation. It hurts the family and it hurts a law enforcement investigation. One guy's already been locked up. Don't you be the next one. We also know no suspects or persons of interest have been named, although no one's been ruled out either. The search remains open-ended. We know this is an active, unfolding manhunt. So I want to close with this because it's important. Even though this is breaking news and it's continuing coverage, let's understand something. This is a real woman. This is a real family that's dealing with a tragedy that I can't even imagine what they're feeling and how they're dealing with it. And this real investigation is happening right now in real time. If you want sensationalism, you're not going to find it here. What you will find is professional, investigative context and updates as facts are confirmed. If you haven't followed this page yet, I invite you to do so. And if law enforcement releases new verified developments, I will break them down immediately. Thanks for listening. Stay factual, stay cautious. Let the detectives do their work. I'm Mike Blangiforti, and this has been Truth, Investigations, and Criminal Behavior. See you next time.